And now we look at Gigi.
If you ever mention any member of my family in a conversation, we're gonna have a problem. You wanna go?
The daughter of a hard-working immigrant Iranian family.
I would love to cut your face with a knife right now.
Gigi told everybody, Cassie like this, cut a bitch, kill a bitch, fight a bitch. Gigi!
I chop.
Gigi, to me, represents someone who is the product of the 90s teenage youth culture.
Toss it up. You wanna toss something?
When the show started, I'm like, this girl's from my generation. She's supposed to be the gangster bad girl who's simultaneously daddy's kid. I had the sense she's been on the social scene, just chilling, getting into trouble since she was like 12, 13. Then years later, it turned out that was the case.
Gigi revealed that her previous drug use started when she was just 11 years old.
Our generation, the older millennial Gen X cusp, the Xennials, we didn't have the social media, we didn't have the mobile phones, the smartphones, etc. But we had relative social freedom compared to our boomer parents' generation as kids. So we were hanging out, experimenting with maybe drugs, maybe petty crime, going to all the under 18 clubs, the house parties, because that was cool. And if we weren't studious in school, like I suspect Gigi was not, we were hyper focused on being cool. Trying hard was for squares, or for our parents, who facilitated our teenage lifestyles,
Have fun, go to parties.
but were still uncool squares to us.
My parents are retarded.
In terms of Gigi's bad girl attitude,
I can turn up. You want me to turn up? Believe me.
the movie Alpha Dog, based on events that took place in the late 90s.
They grew up in beautiful homes. They were living what's rapidly becoming the young person's rap version of the American dream.
This represents the generation of spoiled brat wannabe gangsters.
Your job, you pay rent, you work here.
Get out of my room.
Then the period piece mid-90s, The Masterpiece, that represented the youth culture nihilism of the 90s.
All that trying hard that just corny.
To me, that's what Gigi represented, at least in the first series.
If you ever mention any member of my family,
You sound like you're out the f***ing Godfather.
These families that came from Iran, their objective was to get the hell out of Iran to the West in a position to work and earn good money. They had no idea about, oh, Western youth culture this, oh, LA subculture that. And thus in the first season you had Gigi, pushing 30, but mentally still 16, and emotionally maybe 6 at most.
You've been nothing but whack.
I've been nothing
For
but
1
whack.
year, you've been nothing but whack. And I've
Still stunted by whatever trauma and adversities she may or may not have incurred growing up, but way too comfortable to be forced to actually address and fix those problems. Just go to a shrink and revel in those demons. This triggers me, that triggers me, poor me.
That's what psychiatry has become in America.
The scene where she justifies her confrontational and belligerent nature by way of saying, oh, but when I was growing up I was called names on account of being Iranian.
and I got bullied a lot for being Persian. I felt that
Come on, girl.
I was called a camel.
If that was here, they would have called her the P word that rhymes with Jackie. Some flippant remark, more than likely made by an 11-year-old kid.
You have to come over here. Your country is poor, it stinks.
In the early 90s, should completely mold and dictate how you behave in adulthood. No. People of our generation in the early 90s, we all got names. When I told my white mates in primary school I was half Iranian, I was called the P word. And now, years later, she's apparently changed and opted for single motherhood by way of artificial insemination or IVF or IBM or immaculate conception or who knows what nowadays. Here's the thing, the same way she was too comfortable on daddy's allowance to grow up, she became too stubborn and entitled to learn to compromise and adapt in terms of a romantic partner she could form a healthy, nurturing nuclear family with.
I'm resonating a little bit with polyamory.
I was made to be polyamorous. No, you were made to always get your way because you were always comfortable. Now, on a less serious level, we're going to be looking at Gigi's friend and temporary cast member, not Asifa, Asifa.
You remember Asifa?
Hi, Asifa. Nice to meet you.
Are you Indian?
I'm Indian and Persian. It's like Parsi.
First of all, Persian and Parsi Indian, not to be pedantic, but to be fair, is not the same thing.
Do you guys know about the Parsis? It's like Persians who migrated to India.
Somebody from India whose ancestors are from Iran a millennia ago is not Iranian, but Indian.
So do you speak Farsi?
Farsi kam baladam vali mifhamam.
Asifa,
Yes.
cool. Are you Iranian too?
Yes.
No.
You're the only guy that's ever talked to this girl.
Oh man, I wish all these blokes would just leave me alone, innit?
You're the only guy that's ever talked to this girl.
I am
Indian, Persian, and American.
No, you're not.
She represents however many Indians I've met who'll always claim to be Persian Iranian due to maybe some Parsi ancestry.
My actual heritage is Persian, but I was born and brought up in India, so they've gone, you don't look Iranian. I'm going, but I am.
No, you're not.
You're not from the nation of Iran, but if you want to say that, I don't have a problem with it. I just have a problem with the semantic trickery. I've met too many girls that are Indian with Parsi background who don't just say, look, I'm an Indian Parsi. They just try and say, I'm Persian, I'm Iranian. And you're like, oh, okay. Oh, you're Iranian. That's nice. Farsi Baladi. No, my dad left when I was a kid. He's a bastard. Why are you telling me your background story? Are you Iranian? You speak Farsi or not?
Farsi kan baladam.
It's too complicated for you to understand. You bad man. Stupid man. Like what? Like the girl Shabnam from Celebrity Big Brother. Like we all thought she's Iranian, innit? Like Shabnam, right? I actually saw Shabnam or Shabnam in real life. I'm like, oh, you're from Big Brother, innit?
We're covering it, innit?
I'm like, yeah, are you Iranian? Oh, I'm from India, but I'm not Indian, I'm Persian. I was like, what do you mean you're from India but you're not Indian? Oh, you wouldn't understand. It's very complicated. Yeah, I'm Persian.
No, you're not.
I'm from the Pearl since I was born.
Don't try and confuse me when I am Iranian and I know what's what. Farsi Chegad Baladi.
Farsi kan baladam.
She learnt Farsi kan Baladan from Bobby, yeah, Bobak.
My guy, ex-husband, future husband, current boyfriend.
You're the only guy that's ever talked to this girl.
A Tambal Irani, an Iranian mama's boy with hair plugs. Asifa is always his option too.
The minute he can't find somebody better than me, we're on again. Yeah. I'm Indian and Persian. Yeah.
No.
Lastly, when Indians say they're Iranian, because maybe they've got some Parsi background, it's like Iranians saying they're Italian.
We had to pretend like we weren't, like we were Italian.
If he was trying to pick up women, he'd be Italian. If it was just us hanging out, he could be Iranian.
You're just bashing yourself off. Asifa and Bobby were both as masturbatory as one another.
Some guys like to do with their hands.
You might not have
Stop
said it.
taking care of yourself and let us do it together.
People find weird ways to make love to themselves.
I'm Indian and Persian.
Asifa,
Yes.
cool. Are you Iranian too?
Yes.
No, you're not.
Get out of my room.
Asifa,
Yes.
cool. Are you Iranian too?
Yes.
No.